Hi everybody and welcome to my garden. Today is a glorious day on the Lake Como and actually I'm not working today. I have one project to do, but this is that type of days that starts in a different way and then you decide that today is the day for a little rest. So that's today. And what happened is that my dear friend Gina is back on the lake and we met this afternoon and we decided to have some fun. Uh, I decided to have some fun and she kindly drove me to the gardening center and then I went crazy, with the road being closed, having no upper, and those days when we had a car, we used it for the building things, for bringing the supplies, etc. So now when I had my friend here with the car, I was extremely naughty. I went crazy and I bought many things, like really a lot. But it's summertime and everything blue, the salvias are in bloom. And I do need some pests, some companion plants for my roses, which are absolutely gorgeous. And I got lots of salvias and veronicas and lavender, so I'll show you everything I got. And then I thought, I haven't done a video where I just talk about the garden. I do talk about my garden at the beginning of every single video, I think, but I haven't done the whole video about the garden. And maybe if there are new people on the channel, they can understand better what's happening here. And inside of the house, we are restoring an old Italian house on the Lake Como. Doing this project almost 100% DIY. And the first thing I did in the house was actually the garden. So those of you who are with us from the first day, you know everything. If you are new on the channel, so here we are in the summer kitchen / gardening shed for now. And here is toilet just in the middle of the backyard. And we have pipes and rocks, and I do try to keep our backyard really clear, but with every single day we have things like ladder and just rusted pipes and all sort of things. My beautiful roses, which, I mean, can you imagine doing renovation full time and having this all the time? This is the only thing you see, like the only thing you see. I couldn't live like that, so I made a decision from the first day that I need to see more of this, so I don't get crazy with this renovation. And I have to see less of this and less of that by putting beautiful plants everywhere. This is gorgeous Pierre de Ronsard rose, which I just trimmed a few weeks ago because it was a little bit naughty and didn't bloom. So now it's full of nice and young shoots and will be blooming any week soon. And yeah, you see, the renovation is so much better when you have this and that next to beautiful flowers. That makes a huge difference. And inside of the house, and those of you who ask, this is not a wig, this is special hair. Actually, this is not a hair, it's like bamboo or some sort of natural fiber for the plumbing. This is how they seal the connections in the plumbing. So can you imagine a renovation? This is what it looks like. This is what I see every single day, and not just see, this is where I have to spend most of my time every single day. Fixing the walls, crumbling, yeah, just clearing everything, that type of walls. And this is all fixed, so now it's nice, but this is what my life is. And I thank myself for making the garden first. And so in my little breaks on those hard days of demolishing or recycling 100 years old garbage. This is where I recharge my batteries, and this is where my mind clears and I have some hope for future. Seeing my plants grow from the bare root plants, from bulbs into beautiful, gorgeous roses and hydrangeas, clematises. And this is how I spend my little breaks, or when my friends visit me here, so we can actually sit in a garden with a little glass of prosecco and just enjoy and disconnect from everything that's happening in there. So I decided to talk you through the garden and maybe my little tips and experience. And with this project, with the renovation project, we haven't got any budget for the garden, zero. And the garden was an overgrown forest, which was growing for maybe last 15 years and never been touched. And it was full of butterfly bushes and brambles and wild blackberries, thorny, you know, they're horrible. And obviously the first thing we decided to do is to clear everything, and that took us maybe a month. Just beat by beat, my husband and I, we were clearing the garden, and we had no opportunity to get rid of the waste, of the garden waste, because we haven't got any budget to pay to someone to take the garbage away. And it is quite difficult because our garden is down here and the road is there. So to get anything out of the house or the garden, we have to go through the house on the first floor and then walk the stairs, which is kind of fine, you can do that. But if we had to hire someone, that would cost us a good amount of money, which we don't even have now. So we decided to go slowly and do it ourselves. So we just piled all the garbage in one huge pile, which was, now when I think about it, it's just crazy. The pile was starting here. It was 2 meters height and it went all the way here. It was 8 meters long, 2 meters high and maybe 3 meters wide. And that was all the garbage from the garden, which was in the pile for a few months because we didn't know what to do with it. And also it has a huge volume because all the vegetation was really fresh. So it was just rotting and kind of sitting in the garden for a few months while we were working on the upper terrace, and we will go there now. And for the upper terrace, I decided I will do just tiny little corner first, so I can sit there and have my prosecco. I need a prosecco corner, get away from the renovation. And the upper terrace was really slippery, so it was like a little hill, which you can't really use because there is nowhere to sit. It's really steep. So the obvious decision is to create a terrace wall, and that was the decision. And having no budget, you need materials, at least the rocks. Even doing everything DIY, where do you get the rocks? And the rocks are quite expensive, and the delivery again, because you have to deliver it here and you have to put everything down into the garden. And thank God I set up the Buy Me a Coffee page, and I raised some money. Also, I started my Patreon page. I had a little budget, 200 euros. What do you do with 200 euros? Can you build a terrace? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what 200 euros and few weeks of my time, day and night, make. That beautiful wall. This is the first project I've done at the house, is that wall that made this terrace usable because it was steep. The level started there and it was just a hill like that. So by digging out soil here in the middle and putting it up there, we created 2 levels which now can be used. This one by 2-3 people. It's a little intimate Prosecco corner with the best view. Now here is my potting shed. Also shady corner, another shady Prosecco corner. Little stairs which are now beautiful and full of lovely little plants and succulents and herbs and strawberries. And then this terrace which can seat up to 8 people, and you also have a lovely view from here. And let's go to the Prosecco corner. I'll show you the view from there. And you can't buy and deliver that amount of rocks for 200 euros. But I went to the local building supply center where they have everything: cement, rocks, sand, gravel, everything. And actually they had second-hand rocks. And I suppose almost every place like that, everywhere in the world, will have second-hand rocks. This is where they deposit all the building waste before getting rid of it. And though many of those rocks, they are from somebody's other's demolished house or backyard, so they're getting rid of them, or they reuse that type of material for other buildings, to build the base or to level the garden. But that type of rock is really affordable, and instead of buying a nice brand new rock, you can get really affordable price. Here we are in the Prosecco corner, which has just the most beautiful view, and the roses, the irises. In future we will install a little pergola here, so it will be nice and shady, also very intimate. So I got the second-hand repurposed rocks for 200 euros, and they were delivered by the guy who just dropped them from the cliff. Which was a little bit scary, but it was brilliant. And why I'm saying that is because sometimes people think, oh, we don't have budget, it's going to be expensive. That's what I thought, but there are always other ways to do the project. There are always opportunities, and you have just to dig a little bit in the dirt. And so many things, 99% of the things here in the garden, they source from somewhere extremely cheap or even for free, because people don't need those things, as this lovely little table that comes from my lovely friend. That ladder was at the attic and we just reused it. It's pretty. Those beautiful slabs of stone, which are, if you want to buy one, they can cost 300 euros one. And I saw those just hanging on by the front door of my neighbors, and they were really covered in dirt and fallen leaves and just forgotten and unloved. And I asked if I can use them, if I can buy them, and they told I can get them for free because they don't need it, and they will be happy if I just take them out and empty their garden. So here we are with extremely beautiful steps here. What else? And then when I started this project, that was extremely difficult, because digging soil, which is not just soil, it's full of rock. My husband was helping me a few days a week with digging, and then I could build a wall. And then sometimes it was extremely depressive and so hard. I just wanted to give up. I'm really honest, because this is what it is. But what helps me every time with this project in the garden or in the house, every day is really difficult, but I need to make tiny little something nice. And when I see this tiny little corner being done nice, that keeps me going. So having the first Prosecco corner, it was bare soil. It was just 2 meters of wall built, and then it was just total disaster. Just rubble, rocks everywhere in the garden, dirt after the rain. But I had my 2 meters of wall, and I had my chair on the top of the terrace, and I enjoyed it. I had my little Prosecco, of course. So it is really extremely important for mental health, having just something little nice every time, in every project, every day. That keeps me going. As my Patreon page grew, I had some income to buy the plants, and also that cost fortune, that garden, because so many people say to me, "Oh, you spend so much money on the plants." Yes and no. I do spend money on the plants because you can get some cuttings and seeds, and I do that to save money. But most of the plants you have to buy, of course. But I try to make it really, really affordable by buying bare root roses. Almost all the roses I got were bare root, and they went really well. All of my roses are happy, and all of my plants that I bought, I have only one that I lost. I'll show you, and I think it might come back actually, so we'll give it a go. The rest, the other trick that helps me to buy more plants is I'm looking for some unloved plants with a discount, and if I see that the plant is actually healthy but a little bit unloved and ugly, that's my plant. That's my baby. I will love it. And all of those ugly plants are so happy in my garden now. I give them a really good trim. I feed them. I spread their roots in nice soil, and they're happy. Yeah. The other trick I always do is to buy a really huge clump and then divide it. And here is Veronica that I bought today. Today was a big plant shopping. I went crazy, I told you already, but it's just, I'm so extremely happy, and I want to share this happiness with you. So I bought a huge clump of Veronica. The plant like this side was €5, and you can't really split it. And this one was €11, and I split it in 4 really nice plants. And then there was a little one which I already planted. So it's 5 plants for €11 instead of 1 plant for €5. And they will grow extremely fast, and I can spread this plant everywhere in the garden, so every terrace can have little slice of Veronica now. Here I have beautiful, gorgeous camellia, which was, it's a very big, this is one of the biggest investments in the garden, because I decided to buy 3 big plants to have this structure, and the rest of the plants I bought really small size, like this camellia, the dogwood. So this beautiful camellia was a little bit yellowish, so I think this is the last yellow leaf on it, and it was unloved a little bit, and I had to work a little bit on her, and now she's happy. Look at that, she has nice new leaves. This is the last flower, and this is the way I save a little bit of money on buying a little bit unloved plant. She's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. As well, the same story was with the loquat tree. It was too big, I think, for sale. It was for too long in a pot, and when we transplanted it, all the leaves went curly. I hope you can see well the curly leaves, like see those ugly leaves. And we were scared because it looked like it's gonna die. But then I fed her really well. Every time I eat a banana, I put banana peel by the roots. I fed her with some horse manure, and now she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. My bare root roses are starting. This is Pomponella by Cordes. So gorgeous. Look at those little pom-pom like flowers. Last autumn I got a huge pack of bulbs, and this spring we had the most beautiful blooming garden with hyacinths and tulips, and I will be reusing those bulbs. Some of them will be staying in the ground. I think they will be fine. Some of them I dug out and I'm storing them in dry dark place, and I'm pretty sure they will be happy next spring as well. And another decision I made is to spend a good amount of money but on bare root plants last autumn. It is so much cheaper because, well, you won't get a beautiful big plant like this lavender or this beautiful hydrangea. This is what you're gonna get. So this is peony, and it was a bare root plant, like root like that, which I planted last autumn, and it is healthy and it is beautiful. It won't bloom this year, but I think next year we will see the most gorgeous flowers. And this is kind of my decision. I spend money on plants, but I try to save by dividing or buying bare root plants. As well as this salvia, it was bare root, and this is what you get the first year. And actually I split so many bare roots, so they're teeny tiny. Also, so many kind people, they gave me little seedlings and plants from their gardens. That comes from Aunt Charlotte's garden. It's teeny tiny, but it will be big. This is the creeping thyme that I bought 4 pots, and I split maybe in 8 or 12 plants like that. And it's fine. It's teeny tiny now, but it will spread everywhere like a carpet. And then this is my first lupine, and as you can hear, my video is a little bit noisy. Can you hear that? That's because we have a stream there, a little river, which is quite noisy as it was raining last month every single night. And having this beautiful stream and forest nearby, we have hundreds of thousands of slugs coming here into my garden and enjoying my wonderful lupines and my dahlias. That was a nightmare, and that was a huge challenge for me. I was walking in the middle of the night with a little torch and secateurs and just cutting half slugs. They were hundreds of thousands. And I did buy them slug pellets, and they do help, but then I think that it's not really healthy for the garden, and we have so many birds, and my idea is to fill this garden with wild creatures, so it's really wild creatures friendly, and we can benefit from that. We can just watch bees buzzing around, the butterflies. This is what it should be like. So poisoning slugs didn't look well for me, and thanks to wonderful person, which I don't remember who suggested, but someone suggested in the comments that I create a slug buffet. This is what I call it now. Basically it's a pile of garden waste or a compost bin, somewhere in the garden where slugs can just have fun and enjoy. This is what they love, and this is what they prefer to the dahlias and lupins. So they find really this rotting material so much more enjoyable than lupins and dahlias. And now we don't have this slug problem. All the slugs are down there in the woodland garden, and if you go there in the evening, it's like you can't see the soil, it's all just the slugs. So this is just one of the best suggestions I've ever had. Thank you so much, you saved my garden. And one of the biggest excitements is that my dahlias are starting to bloom, and I got dahlia tubers on sale, of course. And look at them. They are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And so far we had only 3 varieties blooming. This is the one. This is another one here. So gorgeous. Just a few hours ago there were so many bees enjoying those. And then the third variety is this beautiful white one. It's called Sneezy, and isn't that the most beautiful flower? And what you have to do always with your dahlias is to deadhead them. Those huge bushes are Dahlia Café au lait, which I'm extremely excited to see. I've never seen one before, only on pictures, so really excited about those. Then when that terrace was ready, it was wonderful. We sat there when friends were visiting us. We had little aperitivos on the terrace, and it was so important for us. But then sitting there, what we saw was this huge pile of sticks and garden waste, which was starting from here. You couldn't see this wall. This is how tall was the pile. It was going all the way down there, and you couldn't even walk on those stairs because the sticks and the pile, it was just blocking those stairs. You couldn't walk. The pile started here and it went all the way down there. It's 8 meters. It was massive. And then we decided that before Christmas we had to get rid of this. That was another challenge, because by that time we already had our Ave Maria, beautiful Piaggio Motorino, the most incredible invention on that planet. I think every gardener has to have one. It's just the best. So what we did, my husband and I, we came here a few days a week, and we packed all the sticks into the bags, and we took them upstairs into the upper, and we got rid of it. And that took us a few weeks, almost every day I think. But before Christmas we had this terrace empty. It was empty, and actually that was the first time since we got this property that we could walk and see the stream, because it was just full of garbage. We didn't know what's there. And then just in a few weeks I decided that I have to make this place beautiful, and the cheapest way to make this place beautiful, which was just bare soil, was to buy really inexpensive gravel. This is not the pretty type of gravel. This is the gravel that they use for the buildings to mix with the cement. So it's grey, it's granite I think, so it's not really pretty. But it cost 30 kilos of this gravel cost €1. €1. So all that cost me €20. All that gravel was €20, and it made a huge difference to the terrace in one day. Just in one day, from muddy place, it went into beautiful little terrace where we placed the chairs that we got from the flea market for €5 each, I think. the basket which we use as a little table. Actually, I got this at the garbage station for free, and the bench I got second hand for 50 euros. So yeah, and then all the plants, they took time to grow, but now a few months later it is gorgeous. It is so pretty. Any day soon the oleanders will start blooming and more dahlias. So gorgeous. And then had this terrace ready and nice. I just couldn't stop. Every time I was extremely tired and just exhausted from the jobs inside of the house, I took a day or 2 days off and I worked in the garden, just weeding, planting on the existing terraces because they need all my attention. I was adding tiny little succulents. I was stealing little succulents on the streets, and I was putting them in between the rocks. I was stealing little moss here and there everywhere when no one sees me. And I was putting things in between the rocks, and now it is so pretty. So when I had those days off, I was working in a garden again, building another terrace and another wall. And I did promise I will never do it again, because building the wall is not actually difficult. Moving the rocks isn't difficult when you have the rocks in the garden already, because you don't have to leave them. You just roll them and you use the tools to help yourself to leave the rock. It's not that difficult. The difficulty is to bring the rocks from the street into the garden. And I told myself I will never do it again. And then I built another wall. This one. It's so much smaller, but again, that helped with terracing this part of the garden, because again it was really steep and you couldn't walk here. There was no path. It's just what we have here. You can see it's just really steep hill and you can't use it. So the decision was made to create little path and another wall to retain the soil. We added some extra soil and we planted lavender and herbs and roses, and also a little pond, wildlife pond, which I think is so important for the garden, even that small. Just one day I bought a bucket. This is not some kind of special gardening thing. This is the buckets that people use for mixing the cement. You can buy it in any building like depot. It costs 8 euros. It's 50 liters, which I think is a nice size for wild creatures. It's deep. It's that deep. So it's brilliant. And now we have a little wildlife pond. And really exciting thing is that I got 3 tadpoles, which I hope they will grow and jump around the garden and help us with the nasty insects, eating slugs and all other nasty creatures. And then on the other side of the path, we have another flower bed, which is work in progress now. It's almost done on that side. I have lovely plants growing, but it is unfinished on the other side. And what I mean by saying that is that it doesn't have any retaining wall, so it's just a hill, which actually can be like that, but it's better to build another tiny little rock wall and to have a nice path so I can take care of my plants here. We have azaleas, rhododendron, ferns that already were here, more hydrangea, noble bush, and slightly on that path, crossing that path, my garden will be in future going into the woodland garden, which is almost a woodland garden already. I just cleared all the brambles, but they're growing back, so I have to take care of this part of the garden. But this is the future project. We can go through here. Oh, I have to build a path, and then we will be coming here into that part of the garden, which is, I already started paving it with river stones, which I got for free, and filling the gaps in the gravel, the cheap gravel. And it looks really pretty. It looks so lovely. And from here you can see all the garden. And here are my new plants, because I just felt so tired from the inside project, from the plastering, from the demolishing. And yeah, to cheer myself up, I went a little bit crazy. And I got lovely plants. So now I have lots to do in the garden. I got all the wonderful things, the sedum, which I will be dividing, and in few years it will be all over my garden. I have verbena binarium, verbena. It's a lovely plant, good for butterflies and bees. Also, I got bigger plant for 11 euros instead of €5 little plant, and I think I will be able to divide this one in 4. So that's good. More lavender, little campanulas. Oh, I love this one. I think this is type of salvia. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And beautiful Veronica is waiting for me to be planted. This is how I built the garden, with originally having no budget, and then having just little budget and sourcing second-hand things I wouldn't even think existed, like second-hand rocks. Who would think that? But if you have a dream, just go for it. Just find the right way to do it. And there is the way. I'm sure there is one. There is the right one for you, and you will find it if you just dig a little bit of dirt. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching all of my videos, because they help us with the renovation, they help us with the garden. It is a dream come true. It's gorgeous. And all of my patrons are invited into the garden for a glass of Prosecco in the Prosecco corner. So far we had 3 visits, I think, and we will have one more this month. I'm really excited about that. So I'm really happy people can actually come and see it in life and experience the garden. This is one of the biggest joys. And all of these tiny little plants, these are for free. You can find them basically everywhere if you just look around. They're growing in little cracks in the asphalt, on the walls of the buildings. The moss you can find in the forest. And yeah, I think 80% of this wall is all the free plants. And then I just added some campanula, which I bought. I bought some creeping phlox. This one I got only one plant, and it will self-seed everywhere. The strawberries, I already had some strawberries, and you see they're spreading. So they will be everywhere in the cracks. Gorgeous Olivia rose by David Austin, just a few months ago was buried, just naked root, little like that, and now it's gorgeous. Look at that. And we have leaf cutting bee visiting the garden so very often, and she loves Olivia Austin particularly. She loves only this one and the Angela one, that one. No, not other roses, just these two. And then another strange way to save some money is just to let the weed grow and see what happens. This is what happened here. I had little weed growing in the hole, and I just thought, I have nothing to plant here and I will see what happens. And this is it. Absolutely gorgeous little plant. Look at that. She is gorgeous.